forgot how to do this in person. Good morning, everyone. Alberto Sandoval with UC Irvine. Welcome to Wake Up Newport. We've got a great program for you this morning. Our great mayor of the city of Newport. But before that, let me introduce our illustrious leader, Steve.
Thank you, Alberto. It's good to be back. You know, we went dark in January. We still had a Zoom Wake Up Newport, but it's always good to see your faces and be able to enjoy the food this morning. So we've got a great speaker. It's March, and March always means that the mayor comes here and tells us about his goals and agenda for the new year. So we're looking forward to that. But before we get to it, there's a few people in the audience that I just want to introduce quickly. So first off is our fairly newly minted, Assistant City Manager, Tara Finnegan's with us this morning. She's actually been here a long time. I think you've been here so long that I think when I was mayor, didn't you get my office? Right? I was the mayor. They kicked me out of my office because they hired Tara to do public information, right? And she got my office, and I was a wanderer at that point. I had to, take a Carol in the library to do my mayor stuff, Anyway, good to see you here, Tara, and congratulations on the promotion. We have with us this morning our fire chief, Jeff Boyles, who's handling a call in the back. I hope it's not an emergency, Jeff. Yeah, okay, good. Did they put that fire out up there on Holy Jim? No, it's in federal land. It's in federal land, okay. So it's not our problem. It's in federal land, Call the president. He'll take care of it. It's in federal land. Okay, with us this morning also is Howard Herzog, Civil Service Board member. Howard, where are you? Wave in the back. One of my favorite board members and our newly minted Leadership Circle member, Kim Foreman, president of the Newport Beach Board of Realtors. Or Association of Realtors, right? Newport Beach Association of Realtors. I've only been a member of that for like 30 years now. I should know that by now, huh? We also have with us a special guest, Cassidy Hill, our very own Miss Teen Newport Beach. So you're welcome. We do this every month on the first Thursday. You're always welcome to come back, and I will announce you. And as customary, I always since it is getting to be election season here, I always introduce the people that are running for city council. So with us this morning is my sister, Robin Grant. She's actually running for Kevin's seat, our mayor, who's going to be termed out this year. So hopefully she'll be here maybe in a few years from now talking. And then we also have with us Tom Miller. Tom, good friend of mine, who's running for the District 1 on the peninsula. Actually, I just got pushed into your district. Maybe I'll run against you as well. Yeah, they just redistricted. I used to be in District 2, and now I'm in District 1. So, March 8th. Okay. Can I assume that you're going to vote for a map that will put me into that district? Okay, you got to talk to Tom. You got to negotiate that. All right. So with that, I think I'm ready to turn it back over to Alberto. Oh, also just walked in, Pierce Swan. He's a board member with the Irvine Ranch Water District. Is it a board member or director? Director. I want to get these titles right. People get upset when you get the titles wrong. So Alberto.
So it's always great to hear from the mayor. It's better when you hear from a friend. Kevin and I have been longtime friends, and it's great to watch his career and his family grow. So welcome, Kevin. Let me introduce you. Let's see, Mayor Kevin Muldoon was elected to the City Council in 2014 as the District 4 representative. Raised in Orange County, Kevin received his Juris Doctor from Chapman University School of Law and a Bachelor of Arts degree from Loyola Marymount University, where he was awarded the Dr. Singleton Award for Excellence in Economics. That comes in handy at Newport, right? In 2006, Mr. Muldoon worked for President George W. Bush in the White House Office of Strategic Initiatives. He returned from Washington to be admitted to the State Bar of California and practiced law as Deputy District Attorney in the Orange County District Attorney's Office. Currently, he's an executive for a local internet company. He and his wife are raising a beautiful son and are expecting soon. Welcome, Mayor. Look forward to your remarks.
Thank you, Alberto, for the introduction. You're doing a fantastic job at UCI, which is a good neighbor. And yes, we are expecting a baby girl June 20th. I have mixed emotions about bringing new life that is very different from my son. I'm nervous. I'm talking to a lot of fathers about what it's like. And I hear it's the best thing to be a girl dad. That's what they call dads now. It's not just a dad, it's a girl dad. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that experience is like. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming out. You are all saints for getting up early to come to hear me speak. I barely wanted to come to hear myself speak. This is an early hour. It is my pleasure and honor to provide you an update on the state of the city and a preview into the formal state of the city to be held in May. We have some staff here in attendance, as Steve alluded to, and in light of the last couple of years, I'd like to first thank them for the reliable service to the public and dedication to maintaining essential city functions. Public safety, preserving peace and justice in a time of uncertainty. Public works, maintaining utilities and roads and infrastructure, and other core services provided throughout the pandemic without infringing upon individual liberties, like the right to conduct business, free movement, and assembly in public places. Many other staff members worked overtime hours and demonstrated inspiring dedication in unprecedented conditions. As an elected representative privileged enough to observe their efforts, I could not be prouder of their work. We have unfortunately experienced some loss, including the recent tragic passing of Officer Vela, a member of the Huntington Beach Police Department, who we feel is part of our own. Being law enforcement's eye in the sky, he was assisting our police in their never-ending battle to keep the peace and protect the vulnerable. We, the city, extend our heartfelt condolences to Officer Vela's family and friends, including our neighbors in Huntington Beach. Despite difficult losses we've suffered as a community as of late, I remain optimistic about 2022 and personally believe we have much to be grateful for. Violent criminal offenses are on the decline in Newport Beach, and our law enforcement remains fully funded. Under my watch, they will remain to do so, and I know my colleagues feel the same. Increased property tax revenues have offset much of our hotel and sales tax losses, which thankfully are both on the rebound. As a result, we are coming out of these trying times with a $30 million saved budget over the pandemic, an additional $15 million surplus planned for this year. Years of spending restraint and fiscal discipline are paying off, and we're continuing to see a reduction of our long-term unfunded pension liabilities, now to be paid off by the year 2030, a few years sooner than expected. This payment plan for our unfunded pension debt is the most aggressive in the county, perhaps the state. In addition to staying the course on supporting law enforcement, protecting individual liberties, and paying down debt, the city has plans to improve our treasured harbor and beaches. Federal funds earmarked for dredging in our harbor are providing a once-in-a-generation opportunity to return our waters to safe and navigable depths. Those same funds will also help us to replenish our surf beaches with clean sand, protecting our pristine beaches and iconic shoreline. And of course, we will keep the beaches open that belong to the people for all to enjoy. In summary, the state of the city is safe and fiscally sound. The city and our beaches are open for business and will remain that way. May we never forget that ultimately our unalienable rights and liberties come from our Creator, as the Declaration of Independence reminds us, and not from government. For as long as the city of Newport Beach abides by these self-evident truths, the state of the city will also be free. Thank you and God bless.
We've got some time for some questions.
I was hoping to avoid questions. Go ahead, Dennis. Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Great presentation there in regards to.
Thank you, Dennis. I'll tell you first, it's great to have taxpayer funds returned to the city, and we should definitely have staff notify the public when those funds are actually in the bank. And I personally know that I support a boycott on drinking Russian vodka on the dais. So there'll be no drinking of Russian vodka on the dais. And we support Ukrainian efforts to be a sovereign state. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
What is the state of the housing development requirements?
So we've submitted for a second time our planning documents to the state. The governor set up an office that would look at the state planning long-term for RENA numbers, the low-income housing, middle and moderate income housing. And we suspect that they might accept this version. If they don't, we'll have to come back to the drawing board at a third time. And again, just offer or request an open submission from anyone who has any property to submit a plan to build. Now, that does not mean it's going to be entitled or it's actually going to be built. There will still be obstacles for many builders. But we have to, unfortunately, under the law, comply with the mandate to submit that plan. I suspect we'll have something approved late summer. But it's been a back and forth process. And Newport Beach is really probably leading the charge and one of the cities first to get this done. Other cities are still trying to figure out because it's an unknown process. Thank you. Oh, this is easy. Yeah. Yes, Dan. Yeah.
What are you going to do with the Banning Ranch property?
So the Banning Ranch property is part of it we've asked to be included in this housing element, and the state has said you cannot include that in the housing element. You can include it for the sake of a hypothetical building portion, but you cannot assume that it's actually going to have an opportunity to be built. So the question then goes to what will we actually be allowed to build under whether it's coastal or state regulations, and that's yet to be determined. I believe they secured ownership. The Terra, did they secure ownership? Okay, yeah, I think that the Conservancy nonprofit group.
They have a contract, but they have.
Okay, they have contract, but there's not cleared yet. Okay. Okay, great. So they've got the funding. They're going to seemingly purchase that property, and I imagine very little will be done with it as far as being built on it based on coastal and protecting different coastline. So that was a tougher question. This is not the right direction for the morning.
You know that the Banning brothers used to own Catalina at one time.
Oh, really? That's great.
A long time ago.
I did not know that. Yeah. Any other questions? No, I see one from Robin, the candidate running for my seats. Robin Grant. So great question, Robin. And are you cheating? Are you helping that? I'm gonna help you answer these finite questions on the campaign trail. So Robin, to answer that question, the housing element will be submitted to the state for approval. When it comes back, what actually is done on the property is going to be up to the owner. The owner will have the decision or the ability to determine what percentage of low-income housing they want to put in their proposed project. That percentage could be reduced a little bit with a payment in lieu of some of that percentage housing, or there's a chance that they max out the percentages that the state is sort of suggesting. When they submit that, it will likely have to be included into a citywide vote under green lights because there'll be requests for increased density in certain geographical regions and perhaps even zoning requests. So there are a couple of local impediments, if you will, to the process. What I am telling people, just because the state is saying plan this doesn't mean it will get built. And just because the state is saying this is the allocation or percentage of low-income housing homes does not mean it will pencil for developers. So I know many developers who have said, hey, there's only a certain percentage that's going to make this a profitable project of low-income housing. If we exceed that amount, it will be problematic. So we might write a check in lieu of or just do the bare minimum. Now, when you hear low-income housing, you say, well, what does that mean? Often it means single parents with good jobs, teachers. It might not always mean what the perception is. At the end of the day, I am against these sort of mandates because I believe in property rights. If you can put all low-income housing if you want, or low-income housing if you want, it's your property. But I think the free market ultimately will have a say in what gets built and what does not get built. And the governor probably knew that and his advisors, and that's why I think they said, submit us a planning document. Don't actually have a requirement to build these projects because they can't control what landowners are doing constitutionally and they can't control what the market's going to bear. There'll be no property rights that go with that inclusion in the housing element process. They still would have to have a zone change, and they still would be required to go through a green light vote if by chance they have the support to proceed. I personally support keeping zoned recreation properties zoned as such. And I think that there will be enough properties adequately placed to provide housing in residential areas. And I imagine that this probably will not be something that my council deals with. If you're elected, you're going to end up dealing with this. I imagine that the council is going to be hearing from residents requesting it to keep the charm and characteristic of Newport Beach. So I should be asking you that question. Yeah. Before I go to Stan, anyone else have a, yes, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, that's a really good question. First time I've been asked that question. I really don't, I've never put any thought into it. We still have entitlement provisions over the property. And if we were to build something, it definitely at that point would make sense to incorporate it. Is that right, Steve? Yeah. Oh, technically annex it. So it's part, we have oil and there's part of it in the city and then part of it's out of the city. So, okay. So the part that's not already within our jurisdiction, and thank you for the correction, Steve, I doubt the county would be willing to part with. Perhaps they would, though. If they would, then we could annex it, especially if there's entitlement and infrastructure there. If there's none, I'm not sure there'd be much of a purpose to do it. Yeah. So we have a capital improvement plan and budgeted amounts that we've structured throughout the years to pay for the projects that we know are going to be required. So that is more than funded, and now we're looking at projects coming down the road like the police station, and other new fire stations and libraries. Yeah, it's fully funded. We have a lot of money, to be honest. And so we won't be using any financial tools. We'll have the cash available for these projects as they come. And is there a specific project you had a question about?
It was more just to update people on the progress of those projects.
Yeah. So the way those projects come is they come forward. We have a timeline of predicted opportunity to build, and sometimes we're able to move that timeline forward because we have the funds available, or sometimes we move a project in front of others because there's a demand from residents, like Junior Guard Building is sort of that sort of project. And it's a real fascinating process to watch. The Finance Committee board members and staff probably have more passion about that than I do. I'm more of just, if we live within our means, I'll probably support it. But it's a very structured process, believe it or not. And it seems to be going well. We've got a lot of great additions coming to the city. Yes?
Could you talk about homelessness? It's a big issue up and down the state. Affects all the cities. Just talk about how it's going here in Newport.
That's,
And the new van too, Be Well OC.
yeah, we have a traveling van called Be Well OC that's intended to provide mental and I believe medical assistance to those in need. It can actually show up if you have a teenager or someone struggling with, life decisions, if they want to, do something really unfortunate to themselves. It can offer a lot of assistance in a wider range of services. So it's almost like a pilot program to help prevent a lot of casualties that are happening. So we are hopeful that can help with things like suicide rates and homelessness. And but it's almost a pilot, so we don't quite know how effective it will be, but we're hopeful about it.
Huntington Beach already has had a number of responses that have been phenomenal. So it's just a point to take the pressure off the police, right? If those types of calls come through, that they could be the front end of that. So we're really fortunate to have that van. That parks now in front of the Newport Beach Police Department.
Yes, and so to pivot to the homelessness issue, it's typically been sort of a law enforcement issue. Law enforcement would detain someone who's violating loitering or any other local ordinances, detain them for a night or two, and they would be released and they have an opportunity to be involved in a county program that would provide mental health or wraparound services to that individual. Well, the jails have been somewhat impacted, and COVID has been difficult to put people in shelters and in jail, so that process has happened a little less. We've had a balancing game we've had to play, and we've been doing it with the neighboring city of Costa Mesa, who we built a shelter with. We built a shelter with Costa Mesa, allowing for about 20 beds that are dedicated to homeless people within the city of Newport Beach. And we built that shelter because the conditions of the state, as we see in homelessness, and also the order from federal judge Carter, who said you have to provide an alternative place for an individual to rest if you're going to threaten to detain them for violating your camping or soliciting or soliciting laws. So we've had this shelter in place now. We've had a little bit of a Omicron surge there, so we haven't been able to use as much as we would like. But now if our law enforcement, if BWLOC, I don't know if they'll be doing any enforcement on this, or CityNet, which is a nonprofit partner, were to approach individuals homeless and offer them a place to stay, we have a bed that we can offer them, and that allows us to also enforce a local law. And that whole structure has been in place in many cities in Orange County, and it's been put in place per the judge orders in federal court. Yes.
Hi, Kevin. Michael Lawler.
Hey, Mike. I see you.
So my wife and I live on Balboa Island. We're right under.
Thank you. Yeah, I know the runway extension has been considered, but has not really got much political traction at the county. Alternating the departure, I think, is something that I personally would support, especially since there's less residences on the northbound way, as you noted. It's mostly light industrial, commercial. I live under the flight path, so I hear that the engines turn up at 6:45 and then take off at 7, 7:01, 7:02, 7:03, 7:04, 7:05. So it's grueling. I sympathize with you. I thought the best chance we had is a little tough now with the price of oil, which is go to NADP, is it 1 plus? Yeah, they call it plus sort of, or 1.0, the most extreme takeoff flight maneuver. And I'm still hopeful that's a prospect for this airport down the road. Yeah.
I can give a quick update on what's the outlook for that.
So the conversion law that allows you to take a single into a duplex and then fourplex is something that I personally don't support. Some communities where you have an HOA or CC&Rs, what's CR&Rs? Yeah, CR&Rs are trash. It really has messed up my acronym world. Yeah. The state has found that that's a constitutional protection to parties have contracted. They can't do that to those neighborhoods. But other neighborhoods zoned appropriately, as you stated, they can be upzoned in a way that I think is bad for the community. And I think it's different from putting something above your garage, an upstairs unit. I think that's different, in my opinion, from taking those same zoned areas and doing a duplex or fourplex. There will be initiatives on the ballot. I don't think it's going to qualify this time. I heard labor's too expensive to overturn those. SB 9 and 10, I believe, are the numbers. In the city of Newport Beach, we have a little coastal overlay, so we think perhaps Coastal Commission will put some restrictions, and that won't impact us as much as it will other cities. So combining the HOA properties with the coastal overlay properties, we might not be as impacted as much, but I think it's a negative impact on our infrastructure, public safety, and roads. And I think it's very expensive, and I think it's the wrong way to deal with the housing concerns. That's my personal thoughts. Okay, thanks everyone for being here this morning. Thanks for your questions. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks for taking all those hard questions. Thank you all for coming. But before we go, we're going to hear some last remarks from Steve.
Okay, well, I'm actually planning on building one of those ADUs in one of my buildings, so I'm looking forward to that. In the coastal zone. A few things we have coming up. One, I just want to make you aware, if you're not already getting our emails, we have it's a little late, but we finally got it launched, our boat parade auction. We had a great boat parade this year in December 15th to the 19th, and now we sort of have to pay for it. So we have like over 100 items online. You can bid online. The auction's going to go through Monday. Some are already buy it now, so they're gone, but still a lot of great gift cards and hotel stays and things like that. So please check it out. Our website is newportbeach.com. All the things I'm going to talk about now can be found there, so you don't need to write anything down. I just want to remind you that this morning the Hogue Classic's kicking off. So if you're interested in golf, that's why, if you notice, I'm wearing this tie is doing double duty. It's St. Patrick's Day this month, and it's got ducks with golf clubs on it. So I got everything covered for the rest of the month. But yeah, it's a great time out there over at the Newport Beach Country Club. So I encourage you to go out and check it out. As far as the chamber goes, if you want to join us and you're a young professional, next week our Navigate Young Professionals group is going to be meeting over at one of our newest members, Mutt's, over in East Bluff area in that Ralph Center. And we're going to be doing Taco Tuesday and Trivia Night. So come out and join us for that. March 17th, I just confirmed him as Kevin. Kevin's still back there. Raise your hand, Kevin. For those of you who don't know, Kevin's our fire marshal here in town. So he made sure that we didn't have too many people in the room this morning. But he will be our speaker at our Government Affairs Committee meeting 2 weeks from today. I'm not sure. We've been doing that meeting on Zoom, but we may move back to in person. I got to decide the next couple of days. But either way, it'll be a great meeting. Kevin's got a lot of great information for us. Our mixer this month is going to be at the Lot Theater over in Fash Island. It's a restaurant and a theater, but it's a great venue for us. We've had a lot of great events there. Please join us. That's from 5:30 to 7:30 on March 24th. If you're a member, you get in free. If you're not and you're thinking about joining the chamber, we'll put you on the guest list. And if you just show up, it's going to be $35. One of our first of our dozen major civic events that we do a year, our police breakfast, police appreciation breakfast. It'll be our 49th annual Police Appreciation Breakfast. Will be at the Hyatt John Wayne Airport. We're expecting close to 500 people. The event will sell out, so mayor always gets a ticket, but everybody else has to buy one. So actually the city buys his. He doesn't get a free one. But certainly come and join us if you want, but buy your tickets soon because that event will sell out. And then last but not least, we'll be back here April 7th for Wake Up Newport. Don't have the speaker lined up. I'm actually trying to put a special program together for that, but stay tuned and hopefully we'll have obviously another great program for you. So enjoy the rest of your week. Stay dry. I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow, and we'll see you soon. Take care.